What's up, everyone? I'm Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Fuck This Review, and today I'm continuing my just continuing my journey of some of the best, quote unquote, I would assume that some of the best rock albums. And I saw the reviews and everything, and impact it had, and I put it on my list. I have a list, and I jotted it down. And once I got to it, I was happy that I finally listened to it. So today I'm gonna be discussing Rush, Moving Pictures. This is my first body of work that I ever listened to with Rush. I was pleasantly surprised for the most part, to be truthfully honest with you. This album only has 7 tracks on it. Yeah, I was really just taken aback. I really enjoyed it for the most part. I'm just going to give a little review on it. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I can't anyway because it's only 7 songs. Talk about what I thought about some of the songs, give my review at the end, my rating, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get into it. The album is Rush, the band Rush. 8th album, I believe. It came out in 1981. They started working on material for this album after while they were on tour, like a 10-month tour for the previous album before this one. And a lot of the songs I would assume came from jam sessions and like rehearsals and stuff, and that's where they got some of the material for the album. That recording and making new songs on the road thing has to be tough and fun at the same time for some artists, because it's like, how do you even have time to even come up with this stuff? And then on the other hand, you're getting so many new experiences that as an artist, you want to get that creativity out as quick as possible while it's still fresh in a way. Before I go any further, the artwork is pretty fucking dope. To have, everything's a moving picture. Like I read somewhere, like they're actually moving pictures, and then it's a family that's moved by the pictures, and then on the back cover, it's they're shooting a movie or something like that. So it's really, and I heard it cost maybe like $9,000 for that cover, but cool cover. That's one of the things that stood out to me when I went to search the album. I was like, I kind of like that cover, and that's usually like a for older albums, those are like my calling points. Like, wow, that's a cool record cover. I want to listen to this and see what this album's about. I think it's their high selling album. It's over 5 million in the US alone, so I imagine what it is worldwide. But let's get into it. The first song is Tom Sawyer, and when it came on, I was like, I heard this before. Like dun 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 bun bun bun. Like I heard this before in my life. You know how you hear those songs throughout your whole life, movies, TV, just cars passing, and you just never know. It's fucking Rush the whole time. So I think that song was a great intro. The beat switches in that song were just amazing. It was just so hard, like hard rock, like dun 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 dun. Even the vocal performance on it is great. The flow on it is great vocally, and it's a complete mindfuck in a great way though, because like you got those synths going crazy all over the place. You get the amazing beat switches. You get the drums is something that really stood out to me on here. I don't know who mixed this album, but the drums are they're very crisp, and some of the patterns that he was choosing to do with the drums it was just crazy. The guitar solo is great. The second verse when he goes, "This kind is not for rent," and how the drums become a little bit more upbeat at that moment, like they speed the tempo up a couple BPMs. Fucking dope, bro. Like when I had to rewind it back a couple times with this tour, I was like, oh. Because that's like the great thing, with like live instrumentation, how you can switch up things and on the fly, and it's not so computerized. I just thought that was an amazing progression in that second verse with the drums, just really good. Though his mind is not for rent, don't put him down as arrogant. He reserves a quiet defense, riding out the day's events. It's like that's a pretty good rhyme scheme. And one of the things I did notice on here was the stories that they were telling. Like someone was like, they were just so creative. That's what I'm gonna say. The next song, Red Barchetta. I believe that's how I pronounce it. Maybe I pronounced it wrong as well. And it's a story of like a car chase. From when I get, like, the boy has a car from his uncle that's been sitting in like a farmhouse kind of thing. He used the car, go out to do some crazy stuff, and gets back home to, I guess, to chill with his uncle at the end of it all. Like he has a cop chase and all this kind of other stuff goes on. And I was listening to it. I was like, again, they're being really creative. This is like, because even the words and the hook is not even rhymable. It's just like he's continuing to tell this story in this flow. It's just a funny song. Like, it's a very creative song. I read it was inspired by a futuristic short story, Nice Morning Drive, written by Richard Foster, and that came out in '73, I believe. So I like that. I like the guitar work on that song. It was pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about that record. YYZ, which is an instrumental track, which is a damn good instrumental track if you ask me. There's switches. Like, again, this is my first Rush album I'm listening to, and so bear with my ignorance. I read somewhere that this album they were trying to be more commercial and more catchier and better song structure than their previous work, but their musical ability was just great. Like, it was hard rock, but it was also, production was just amazing. Like, those switches and the way that they were painting the story with just the music, freaking amazing, man. Limelight, I love that guitar solo in there. I guess that song is about, just being like superstars and adjusting to that fame and the life that comes with that. And touch back on what I said at the beginning about, recording on the road. You're going to get records like this because you're seeing all kind of vultures. You're seeing all kind of nice people, bad people, anything you can imagine. You're seeing it on the road. And you were on the road, they said their tour was 10 months. So that has to be a total culture clash for anyone who's thrown or thrust into that position of just stardom and, may not know how to handle that or having to conform to this person you're not. Like, it's some line, I forgot what he said, but it was along the lines like basically putting on a fake smile and for the people that you don't even know and things of that nature. And I thought that was every what can I say? Every artist will probably go through that if they make it big, even on a lower level. And I imagine they were superstars, so had to be crazy. Limelight, the fifth track, I think. Yes, and each verse is only 2 verses. Song's 10 minutes. It might have been a little bit too long just for me to get that story out. Like, it's long instrumental breaks, which are great, but it kind of loses me in some aspects of it. But I appreciate the story of telling the story of New York City and what was it, London? Yeah, so I thought that was cool. Witch Hunt, they would say that song took a lot of overhaul on production. It was a whole studio production thing, and I can understand that from the way it sounds. Compared to the rest of the records on here, it had a lot more in it. Like it was just full. That could be because of all the stuff. The song was recorded the same night John Lennon got shot, which is crazy in itself. And I would assume maybe it's about a gathering of a group, a hate group, who bring terror. They don't say what they actually do, but it's like they're coming kind of thing. Cool record, I guess. Again, it goes into I love the creativity of it. I'll leave it there. Vital Signs. And that song, what I got from it is about conforming. You could tell where their mind was at making this album. And the beats switch towards the end before he starts repeating himself over and over again. It's like subtle change, but it was so great. Like, I was like, that's so cool that they did that. Good closeout record. A little downer and almost like not conforming and people who do conform kind of thing in a way, but it was a cool record. Let me get into my best songs. I'm gonna go with Tom Sawyer. I'm gonna go with Vital Signs, and I'll go with Red Barchetta. Worst song, I'm gonna go with The Camera Eye. It's just too long. Best line, quick to judge, quick to anger, slow to understand, ignorance and prejudice and fear walk hand in hand. I was like, ooh, now that's a good line right there. That's a good line. Fucks given for this album for Moving Pictures. I'm going to give it, I'll give it a 3. I think the 7 songs left me wanting more. So 3 out of 5 fucks given. I didn't feel like it was complete to me. But who am I to say that? It's 2021, in my opinion. It doesn't matter at this point. It's a classic album. It's a classic album. Let's wrap this up, though. In conclusion, closing, however you want to say, when it comes to Rush, moving pictures. I enjoyed the album. I can't say I didn't enjoy the album. The one thing that really stood out to me was the production. The production really stood out to me. That's one of the things that at sometimes it was even, the production was so good it was drowning out the vocals for me. And I had to listen to it over and over again to, all right, let me comprehend what he's saying in the record, like vocal wise. But for the most part, that production on this album was masterful. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. As always, fuck this review. I'm Tatum. Peace.